Hey guys, I'm back, and this time let's talk about the most underrated phone of this year, which is the Sony Xperia XZ1. And this is the bigger brother of Sony Xperia XZ1 compact. So we are going to talk about bigger brother in this video only. So why I'm making this video, right? Right from the start, I'm going to tell you all that this is my go-to phone, and I'm making this video to let you all know that Sony is still in the smartphone game. So firstly, let me talk about the bad part about this phone, because the list is pretty small and you all are right. I'm going to talk about that big bezels, because they're the most bad attractive thing about this phone. Well, in the world of bezel screen, this phone doesn't look like a 2017, but I want to clarify one thing that I've seen in an article also. People are buying Sony phones because of that big bezel only, as they say that they get safe from unwanted screen touches, which is kind of a right thing too. But hey, I'm not a big supporter of this trend. I prefer screen like S8 only, but again, many still don't like the bezel screen. Another thing that I don't like about this phone was it's a lover of fingerprint. Nowadays, it's common with all the phones, but due to metal in the back, it's quite hard to ignore the fingerprints in this phone. And believe it or not, the list is over. Yes sir, you heard it right, the list is over. Everything else about this phone is amazing. I know many of you will say, hey, what about that square corner? Isn't that ugly? And my answer is, this is the perfect phone to handle. And trust me, that pointed corner really helps me to grip the phone. I have held many phones, but I have to say this was the much comfortable and the most comfortable phone that I've ever held in my whole life. And that pointed corner really helps me. And in pocket also, they don't disturb you. So now it's time to talk about that display. It's 5.2-inch Full HD HDR display, which looks pretty good, no complaint, and the HDR really comes in effect here. And really, it looks different from other Full HD displays. And I should not say this, but I really have to say that I have no complaint with this display. It ridiculously looked good from my opinion. And it's not that good like Samsung, but in 2017, it's acceptable for sure. And short note, auto brightness is not that good in this phone. And in outside, it's pretty viewable. Next thing we should talk about is stereo speakers, and it's not gonna blow your mind or ears, but it will amaze you that how clear the audio is. And yes, it's better than my S6 Edge speakers. And you know, the best part about the speakers are you can watch video or movie without any disturbance, because the speakers are in right place, not in downward, which usually stops the sound. And I feel like stereo speakers are the way to go for sure. So Sony, full marks on speaker department, full marks. And short on for you guys, under sound option you will see this option, which probably going to improve the audio, but it will work with headphones only. And talking about headphones only, yes, you all are right, the headphone jack is here too. And the fingerprint is here too, but where? Right in the lock screen button only. What? Yes ma'am and sir, the fingerprint is in lock screen button only, which saves you from that extra click. And talking about fingerprint only, it's ridiculously fast and way fast than the Samsung phones, way fast. But I felt one thing that was not right was due to one press, I was missing all of my notification, and even if I want to check them, it's impossible for me. But still, if you want, you can go with fingerprint, which is not registered with the scanner, but you will going to see this option. And talking about design only, the placement of volume button is alright. I have no complaints, and thanks to the lock screen button, it was very different from the volume button, which is really helped me in pressing the right button at the right time. Not like the HTC phones where lock screen button and volume button are kind of the same. And you have USB Type-C also, and obviously fast charging too. And by the way, it charges pretty fast. So now it's time to reveal some specs, because it's a master of a phone when it comes to specs. So Snapdragon 835, 4GB of RAM, 2700 mAh battery, micro SD or dual SIM depending upon your. It comes with 64GB inbuilt storage, and the best part, it's waterproof, and it's not IP67, it's IP68. Yeah, so specs wise, this one stacks up with other flagship phones like of LG V30, S8 and many other great phones. And I know what you all would be thinking, what about battery life? And I should say this, I've got the battery life that I've been waiting for many years. It's amazing, and with mixed use, I used to last full day with this phone with 30-25 battery remaining always. And still, if you are curious that why I haven't talked about performance, let me tell you, it's battery. And I like its skin too. It's very close to the stock Android, not like that TouchWiz. Last thing we should talk about is camera, and what I feel like every company should do this. What, right? Make a separate key for camera, just like Sony, which is really useful. So his 90 megapixel shooter shoots amazing photograph, as you can see right now. And it's not like the iPhone or Samsung or Pixel, but it's not away from it either. In fact, I was reading in the article in an app where this phone was on number 4 for the best camera in any smartphone for 2017. Again, I'm not saying that this is best, but I was happy to see that it was in list also, which is big deal. And talking about the selfie camera, it's 30 megapixel and man oh man, I enjoy taking selfies with this phone, and hands down they were better than the S8, hands down. So camera is on point, and if you ask me to give it rating, I would give it 7 out of 10, no doubt. So every company has their own gimmicky feature, like Samsung has their own S Pen and so do the Sony, but Sony has many gimmicky features. First of all, which is 3D Creator, which lets you make something like this, which from my opinion is pretty useless. Trust me, it's of no use, and I'm not ashamed to say this, but these features are not gonna be useful in future also. And another feature that they say that it's a game changer is that AR effect, which lets you do something like this, which is definitely is for kids. For sure it will be fun for you, but you will do it just for a couple of days. So last but not the least, we have super slow motion in this phone, which is slower than the iPhone also. iPhone has 240 frames per second, but this guy is rocking 940 frames per second, which is pretty fine as you can see right now. Not fine actually, it works amazingly well, but one downside. It restricted to the resolution of 720p only, but 940 frames per second is a lot in slow motion department. So this is a Sony Xperia XZ1, and as I told you earlier, this is my new go-to phone. It's perfect in every aspect except some drawbacks like of that big bezels. But wow, I am shocked that in the world of Samsung, iPhones, OnePlus, I would go with this. But believe it or not, my decision is not wrong, and at the end I want to say that Sony is still in the smartphone battle from my opinion, and I wish them all the best for the future. So Sony Xperia XZ1, boom, go for it. And with that being said, I hope you all liked this video, and if you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. And again, I'm AJ and I'm signing off. Bye bye.